Hello, folks. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. And we might reach the final episode in Wano Act 2. And just like the previous episode, it does a good job of getting you hyped up about what's to come with the raid in Onigashima with Wano Act 3. Plus, I'm kind of hyped about the next episode, to be honest with you. But there's a lot to talk about in this episode. Primarily, obviously, it was training and build up. Zoro getting the Enma that was previously wielded by Kazuki Oden. So I like how everything ties itself together with this episode. You also have Luffy training his Ryou, and by the episode, it's obvious he's got it down. But like in the last episode, we ended with Kaido and Big Mom with forming an alliance at least until they conquered pretty much the world. They're gonna go back to killing each other, so that's a problem. And the thing that came to my mind, especially when this came out in the manga, is Luffy saw Big Mom and Udon, and I'm surprised he hasn't said anything yet. Although we haven't seen him say anything because there's time skips all over the place. There's time cuts all over this episode. The pacing fits really well. They timed it really good, honestly. So it starts off pretty much with a big presentation. Amino Habikiri actually Emna, which is going to go straight to Zoro. And there's a scene where Hitetsu, back in the frame, he's the blacksmith of Wano that gave the Nigai Kitetsu to, well, he didn't give it because Luffy straight up took it away. He ran away with it. So Zoro overhears this and he figured that, oh, I thought that was a special sword. So it's an upgraded version of the Sandai Kitetsu that Zoro has. But obviously the hype was Zoro getting the Emna and him starting to train with it. And there's a warning to Zoro. It's like, I think Kinemon warned Zoro not to take it because of the danger it possesses. At least a normal person would be dead for wielding it because it takes the user's real hockey away while he's trying to use it. So the only person who's capable of wielding it before this was, of course, Kazuki Oden. So now it's being handed to Zoro, so he needs to get used to that. That scene was great where the moment he wields it, he tries to take a swipe of it, and then immediately the hockey takes his hockey's taken away. Like you see his arm decreasing in size, like it's shriveling up. So that's not good. So Zoro has to get that down. He actually gets a grip and he actually gets his hockey back, and his arm regrows. So that's pretty cool. And I like how it's all being built up. Like everybody's just looking on while Zoro's about to unleash this beast. I mean, goes to the cliff, I guess. He takes a swipe and he cuts up the mountain in half, and Sanji's the one that freaks out about that, which I'm surprised because he usually doesn't do that. He doesn't usually hype up Zoro. But yeah, this hypes up Zoro, just a casual slice the mountain in half. So can't wait to see what Zoro does with this beast when he goes ham in Onigashima. Zoro drained of his Ryou says, yo, I'm going to get the hang of this and I'm going to get stronger. Komatsu says, oh, you're kind of crazy. So before then, there's actually a scene about, I guess Komatsu told the rest of the Akazai and the retainers that, oh, Hiyori's still alive, and Momonosuke overhears this. So obviously it's an emotional moment. Zoro's the one who ends up saving her life, so he gets the praise for Momo. And then there's a funny moment with Sanji actually finding out that the girl that Zoro saved back in the Flower Capital is none other than Momonosuke's sister. So that even triggers Sanji even harder until he tries to like weasel his way into Momonosuke's good graces. So he's trying to suck her up so he can get to Momo's sister. So there you go. And Momonosuke is shocked when he finds out that she's 18 years older than him. So I guess she used to do drop kicks to Momonosuke when she was a child, because he's getting triggered right now about an 18-year-old that's 18 years older drop kicking you. So yeah, that'll do that. Like I said, the main points of this episode was Zoro getting the Emna, training with it within the time that's left, and also Luffy getting the Ryou down in Udon. Also, there's a brief mention about what's gone on with how many troops are under Kaido and Orochi, and according to Robin, it's over 30,000. Kinemon, they only have 4,000 right now, but there's obviously going to be growing, because we go to other different parts of Wano to where I guess members of the Yakuza under Hyogoro, they end up rounding up some allies from each districts like Ringo, Hakamai. Like there's actually backstory with when it comes to like Kitetsu being mentioned to Zoro. Like the most informative part to me is like the blacksmith that created Enma, Shimotsuki, who apparently left Wano a long time ago. So that kind of raises a lot of questions because there's been a lot of speculation that Shimotsuki has some ties to Zoro. So, and the reason that Zoro's getting his blades now is because maybe it's because of that. So I don't know. You just paint an interesting perspective on this when it comes to like the theories of Zoro being related to the Shimotsuki. So we actually get backstory when it comes to like Shimotsuki because of Kozaburo. I guess his legacy in Wano, and automatically people are gonna like link this to Zoro's legacy if he's got any connection at all to Wano. So according to Hitetsu, 50 years ago, half a century ago, he illegally left Wano. He was the one that created, I guess, Emna and the Wado Ichimonji, which is a huge legacy to Zoro right now. So automatically the dots start to connect. And you have to go back no further than when he's talking to Momonosuke about learning about Sinachi. He learned it from his master Koshiro when he left Wano a while back. So it's obvious it could be him. We know he's alive, so that's not possible either. Koshiro's alive outside of Wano. We've seen that already. So, and we know Shimotsuki Kozaboro's dead. So I'm wondering if Koshiro is pretty much related at all to Shimotsuki. Having trouble remembering, he was the former daimyo of Ringo before he got executed at the hands of Orochi and Kaido. So, a little bit of foreshadowing when it comes to like Hitetsu telling Zoro that the Mnet isn't a black blade right now. So he could be the one to make it a black blade, and possibly that could happen before the end of Wano. So automatically you've got Zoro hype overload in this episode. On top of that, the fact that the Wado Ichimonji now has a legacy with Wano, I think it's more than obvious by the end of the series, Zoro's going to turn each of these three swords and make them black blades. There's way too much hype for him not to do that. So, but ultimately he's training with it, and he's actually getting it down. He's using his haki, but it's regaining it as well. And it's if you noticed, the second time he's wielding it, it's not degrowing in size, so he's getting used to it. Luffy says to Chopper, "I'm not going to join up with you guys until I get this thing down." And we actually see a cool scene with him going in Gear 4 before then, and actually using Ryou infused with Gear 4, and it's still not good enough. So I can't wait to see what this looks like now he's polished Ryou in his training. And before time runs up, obviously for plot purposes, they both get it down, and you see the rest of the Straws doing the thing. I find it odd though that Zoro and Luffy are the only ones training right now. So you got Frankie and Usopp helping out with the ships. You got Robin and Nami doing their thing. Like Sanji preparing rice balls. So you got Zoro and Luffy the only ones training right now. Luffy joins back with a gang, so that's cool. Again, I want to point out this is not a full Straw Hat reunion because Frankie and Usopp are not with the group at this time. The rest of the Straw Hats are there. We get a cool scene with obviously the Akazai 9, the Scabbards parting ways with Luffy, and Luffy's like, "Yo, don't get caught," and Kiddymon's like, "No, we're not gonna get caught. So do what you have to do. We'll meet up with you guys at the port." So that's a cool scene. They depart. We get the badass walk with the Akazai 9, the Scabbards, and so they make their way. Of course, this plan's gonna go alright because now the information's been leaked. Because we go to Orochi and we find out. First off, he gets a call from Babanuki in Udon about, obviously because he's under the influence of Otama, he's trying to make it out like, oh, everything's good at Udon. But Orochi's already caught wind of this because the information's been leaked, so there's a traitor amongst the ranks of the group. The traitor's going to lead into Wano at 3, and the most important information is they're going to be meeting up at Takage Port. So that was the information that was leaked. That's a problem because Orochi could intercept that and put those plans on hold. There's also the fact that Orochi points out that Hiyori's alive in the north, which is a problem because she could be hunted down. She doesn't have the protection of Zoro Korematsu now. But the bigger picture here is the fact that this information was leaked. Now there's been a this is nothing new about a traitor because this was foreshadowed back in Zoro with when Inuyasha is talking about Jack being led to Zoro. There's also the speculation of a traitor leaking that information or a Vivre card on them that's leading Jack to Zoe, so they need to figure that out. So this has been foreshadowed ever since then, coming back in full circle in Wano because it's obvious there's a traitor in the ranks, and this kind of narrows down the possibility of who it is because obviously this reveal pretty much disqualifies Law because only because of the fact that Hiyori was mentioned in this leak of information, and Law wasn't around the group when Hiyori's mentioned about where she parts ways with Kawamatsu and Zoro, and I guess she's asked, "Oh, you can join up with us if you want to reunite with the others," but she says no because there's a battle that's about to take place, so she doesn't want to get everybody emotional before that battle. She asks Zoro and Kawamatsu to please save Wano, stop Orochi and Kaido, and we'll meet after that. So it's kind of the same thing with Kinemon meeting up with Suru, his wife. He wants to end the battle first before they can reunite. So it's the same thing here. Only this time there's a consequence because that was stated to the rest of the group. Law wasn't a part of that group, so that automatically disqualifies him as being the traitor. So it has to be someone that's in that group right now. Hearing this information, so like I said, it narrows down the possibility of who that traitor is. So again, that's also going to lead into Wano at 3. So I think that scene's going to go over a lot of people's heads, but just I thought it was a well done scene. It's very subtle, but if you put the pieces together, it's a little bit clearer of what's going on here. We're on the day of the Fire Festival, so shit's about to go down. When the Scabbards depart ways with the Straw Hats and Luffy. You got everybody saying the goodbyes. You got while they're marching their way towards Kaido, which is an epic scene, by the way. You got Hiyori playing the music, the classic Wano intro music. Only this time, she's not wearing the mask. So I thought it was a great touch to like end the act with the Scabbards making their way, while you got Luffy and Zoro continuing the training, getting it down. And I love the scene where Luffy using his Ryou, punching a bamboo tree, and you see the shockwave coming from inside out. That's where the damage comes from, and that's where he's finally mastered Ryou, which is going to be very helpful to him in his fight with Kaido and possibly Big Mom, because you can do damage from the inside out, because before he wasn't able to, but maybe he can now. But that's still a stretch considering it's Kaido and Big Mom. How the act ends with the narrator hyping up what's to come, with the Scabbards making their way. And now you got Orochi anticipating the plans. So, there's going to be a rebellion, is there? We'll see about that. So, very well-paced episode. I like how it's structured. And I said before, it could be possible that Wano Act 2 ends before the year ends, 2020 ends. And technically speaking, the year is about to end. And this is probably going to be the last episode of the year. So, yeah. So that was great timing. And it marks itself perfectly for what's about to come out next. And I do like how, before we get the preview for the next episode, by the way, I didn't check the entire preview because I know what's ahead and I'm hyped, so I don't want to spoil myself. But I do find it cool that they had a special notification, like a special presentation for like chapter 1000 that's coming out. It looks like January 4th, so that's pretty cool. So it's going to be a massive celebration to open up 2020, and we're going to have a monster episode to open up 2020 in the anime. So I can't wait for that. The last world building episode that we got in between Wano acts was the bounty reveal of Blackbeard. Great way to end Wano Act 2 with the Scabbards making their way to Kaido. And with what's about to come down in the world building aspect next, you actually have the narrator hyping up. So I can't wait to see that. All in all, it was a great episode. Let me know you guys down below. That's going to do it for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Like the review if you did. Hit the thumbs up. I appreciate that. It helps out the channel with these reviews. Subscribe to the channel for more One Piece. Catch you guys later. Thanks, guys. Bye.